Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, to our shareholders of New Age Metals and any interested parties. Today is October 6th, 2025, and we've had a very exciting couple of weeks in the company. We announced the financing a couple of weeks ago, and quite frankly, we were looking at somewhere in the $1 to $2 million range. We were able to have our largest shareholder, Mr. Eric Sprott, who is a world-renowned financier of not only junior companies but mid-tier, and obviously he has some investments in majors. But was our biggest shareholder and has committed to another $2 million. We closed that last Friday. I think it was a total of 2,240,000 we closed. And before that, we'd moved the financing up to 3.5 million. And then we moved it to $4 million about a week ago Friday. And we actually turned down somewhere near $1 million to $1.5 million from real people because we couldn't take the financing because the stock had moved up so dramatically. So we're very excited to say that in our treasury, the second closing will come in the next week or so. We should have approximately $6.5 million of cash and stock. Most of the stock that we would have for sale is probably in the $500,000 range, but it's important because it allowed us to do a couple things. Other company stock allowed us to make some investments that we'll tell you about going forward here. So from there, we have been working for a long time, actually the last 3 years, behind the scenes that a lot of our shareholders never get to see. We've been looking at properties internationally, in different countries. We came very close to moving into Kazakhstan after several months, and really over a period of 2 years, we decided not to for a number of reasons. We've looked at projects all over Canada, Latin America, and even Africa. But management feels that the best place we should be at this time in our company's age and probably management's age is in North America. So to that end, we've been working very diligently in Newfoundland. As you probably know, earlier this year, we picked up about 11 properties, and we are currently negotiating on several other properties in Newfoundland, and that's looking for gold and antimony. Last week, we also announced a new project that we call the Bonanza Gold Project. It's in the Kenora mining district, a great district. We were up there doing a due diligence for the first week of September, and I couldn't believe, the access we have to this property. The power lines for Northern Ontario run through the property. There are many high-grade areas that we were able to test ourselves, our own due diligence, and send into the assay lab. And if you look at last week's press release, you'll see some of the high-grade areas that we found, different prospects. And we were working hard in that district to acquire additional properties as we speak. So I think you'll see more news coming out of the Kenora mining district for gold. And we feel it's an underexplored area for several reasons. The last few years, there hasn't been a lot of money for junior mining companies, even though the gold prices have been relatively good for a year or two. As of today, right now, we've just checked the price of gold. It's US 3,950. It's amazing. I almost said 300. When I started our career, I can remember in 1986, I believe it was, the price of gold went from 250 to 350 more or less, and we thought that was fantastic. That 3,950 today is approximately $5,514 Canadian. That is a fantastic price, and it doesn't look like the price of gold or silver, which is a fantastic price. And so is the price of copper and uranium and many other things. And we thought that the junior mining industry would have made a rebound at least 2 years back. It just didn't, but it appears that we're back on again, not just because of what we've done, but I think I've said this in the past. I have about 55 investments in junior mining companies, and they're in almost every sector of minerals in the industry. And up until about 3 months ago, my line was that there wasn't five of them that were in the money. Today, many of them are in the money. Many of them are doubled and tripled, and many of them are going up. For example, one I was following today, I don't spend much time looking at it. It's more the end of the day, but one of the young fellows in my office yelled that one you've got's up 20%. We're seeing that. And I think it is the true turn of the junior mining industry after 5 very poor years that we've had. And that was my fifth downturn. So for the young fellows in our office here, I kept saying it's going to turn. I just couldn't tell you what day it was going to turn, but we think it has. Something interesting coming up. There's going to be a recorded video when we went up to Kenora. So what we decided to do when we did our due diligence week up in Kenora is answer the question that we get many times is, what or how does a junior mining company acquire a property, whether it be gold, any kind of precious metals, platinum group metals, lithium, iron ore, whatever you would acquire. And there's always a story behind the scenes. In the case of the Bonanza Gold Project, we actually filmed the whole thing in-house, so it's not super professional, but it's pretty well done. And it shows in 3 parts us going to Kenora, us driving out to the property, the infrastructure, whatever, meeting the prospectors that sold us the property that we acquired it from, and then the field work we did, and then we wrapped up the video. So we're going to put it out over the next few days in 3 parts, 1, 2, and 3, because I think it's about 30, 40 minutes altogether. And it isn't for everybody, but anybody who's interested to see how does a junior mining company acquire a property, I think you'll get a kick out of it. And we've got some real characters in there when you meet the people. And so take a look at our recorded video that's coming out. Just summarizing some of the other situations in Newfoundland, as I said, we've just about finished our phase 2 work, and we will have results coming out on the phase 2. And that was a fairly big program. We got a lot done for not a lot of money, about $300,000. We've been out there twice. We've hired a prospector full time who goes to the end of November, or I think it's November 15th. And so we're continually out there. And when we do the programs, we've got 2 or 3 other people that are very technical helping us do that. And I think you'll be impressed. We haven't seen all the results yet, but with what we've done in the short period of time, with the little amount of money that we've spent, the government also has given us a grant that's going to be over 70,000, and there are a couple other real reasons why to be in Newfoundland. We expect to acquire other projects in the district, as I said, and we're continuing to work on those projects there. And if you remember, that's both gold and antimony. Antimony is a metal that's used mostly in military applications because it's very hard, and they put it basically into shells and different areas of the military that I guess are used to send out missiles and bullets and all the kind of things we really don't want antimony to be used for. But it went in about a year's time from $20,000 a ton to about 60,000. So we're looking for gold in Newfoundland, and we're looking for gold and antimony. And often in this area that we're working, one of the only areas in Canada like that, you can find both. So expect more coming out of Newfoundland. We also, as you probably saw recently, acquired just over a 12% interest in Metalquest Mining. That's a sister company here. Metalquest has one of the largest, I think it is the largest undeveloped iron ore project in North America. And we were able to pick that up, and I wish I could have made a video of that, but as a small company with a market cap of less than $3 million, MQM is a symbol. It has a massive, massive project. It's drilled out. Somewhere between 120 and 150 million has already been spent in the project, and we inherited all of that. So we've hired a company called Atkins Realities, and they're doing a gap study on that project. And so New Age owns 12.79% of it, but with its warrants can go up to 19%. So please take a look at why we made that investment. And the beauty of that investment is it wasn't a lot. It was like under $200,000. I put another 150,000 into the company. I have over 3.2 million in that company today, MQM, Metalquest Mining. But there's now a big engineering company, and they're doing a gap study, and that's the gap between the feasibility study that was done in 2015 and full feasibility and where we are today. So watch our news coming out on MQM and where we're going. The lithium division, it was a slower year for it. As you remember, last year we spent 7 million. The price of lithium is being off. It's almost going through the same kind of situation that the junior miners did. And so with our big company who's put almost $10 million into the project to date, we've decided to do what had to be done this year, a smaller budget, and decide next spring again, if things have improved, what to do and how much work will be done. We also have a couple government grants that are helping us in Manitoba that I've certainly said something about it several times. And if you look at our press releases, we always put the about section in there, and that describes where we are. Just in summary, really happy that things have gone well. I think our shareholders are going to be happy. The stock from its lowest low this year, we looked the other day, is up 460%. So anybody who bought this company in, say, December, January last year is going to be quite happy. We're well funded. We're now going to have a lot of news. Our platinum group metal project, which I believe to this date is the underlying asset, the underlying key asset of this company, with approximately 4 million ounces of palladium equivalency in Sudbury, in the greatest mining district you could come from, all road accessible. Those prices of platinum and palladium, I didn't check today, but they've been increasing. Both platinum and palladium kind of palladium and it's went to in 222 went to about 3,400 US dollars, which is a fantastic price. Then promptly went a year or two later to 900 and stayed there for a couple of years. The last I looked last week, I think it was about 1250 US dollars, and platinum, which is our second most important metal in the big River Valley project that we own 100% of, is somewhere in the $1,500 to $1,600 range the last I looked. So it's made a dramatic increase. It's almost doubled in 3 or 4 months. So watch for more news coming out of our key asset. I always say it's the asset underpinning everything else we do. And that news will be coming out before you know it. We've made 2 applications there for 2 different 3-year permits, and we should have them by the end of December if all goes well. And we have dollars that can go into that project too that'll start next year. So we'll be firing on all cylinders next year. In summary, we'll be working on several projects. There'll be new acquisitions coming in. There'll be news coming out from Newfoundland, news coming out from Metalquest Mining's big iron ore project that we own 12 point some percent and go to almost 20 on it. There'll be news coming out of the Bonanza Gold project, and certainly lots of news coming out of Newfoundland. And our overall goal is to get both the Bonanza Gold project and the Newfoundland projects, at least 1 or 2 of them, to the drill stage by spring, summer, fall next year. So that's a quick overview, maybe not as quick as you would have liked, but we have a lot to talk about. Thank you very much.